Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Zanele.
I'm Sam.
And this is the Apatas. Welcome back to today's episode. Promised to be informative and insightful. So I hope you enjoy the time with us today and hope you all are doing good. Please just continue to share the videos that you're finding helpful. Might help other people as well. So, and also just remember to subscribe and comment.
Yes, thank you.
So anyway, today's topic, like it has been like in our conversations for a while, because it's been I'd say a big issue, I think, in our churches, that I've noticed or that we've noticed in our churches, which is just how things around business are not talked about, or they're not part of any programs or part of any conversations. For most churches, I know of one or few that do actually have programs in place to help the members of the church to have conversations around business, because we still have to do business as Christians.
Yeah. So part of the reasons why we're doing this is because of the Pandora paper, that's in the news recently, and also as Christians.
You should explain what Pandora papers are.
Please Google it or find out on YouTube. You would know. We don't want to go into the technicality and the details.
Like a basic, so that someone can if you connecting the conversation to that, what is actually that thing.
Okay, all right.
Just on a,
Okay.
Too deep.
So the Pandora papers are wealthy individuals, high net worth individuals that are quote unquote hiding their wealth.
They are investigated first. Not they are investigated, but there's a group of professionals that run some sort of investigation in general, as a whole. Yes,
journalist.
Yes, in the global space, not just specific countries, and that includes different professionals like your lawyers, your CAs, your accountants, and so forth and so on, and then they produce this
Pandora paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so the content of Pandora papers is that high net worth individuals would have offshore accounts in what is termed, in areas that are termed tax havens. And yes, tax
havens.
Doing that or moving your wealth, into those areas, is not necessarily illegal. However, there are some people, for specifically for these Pandora papers, there are specific set of people rather that we as Christians or believers don't expect, to be found in the list, and they are there. And that is one of the reasons, for this conversation, to say if Christian leaders are storing their wealth in tax havens, then
investing. I just think it's a matter of them saving it, right? So they're saving their wealth so that they don't have to pay taxes, in a sense that they're not declaring it in their own countries. The reason that they're in the Pandora papers is because they haven't declared those kind of things, or they are secretly doing it without people's knowledge, and they are also not not necessarily tying it back to them. So like if I'm storing my wealth in wherever country, tax haven, and I don't write and I don't say it's Anele Apata's, okay? And then I don't say also that I actually have wealth stored up in such a country, that's where the problem is at, okay? So the conversation is just about the leaders in the churches that also have been found part of those people who have all these monies in other countries and whatnot, and and obviously to me it means that they are, I'd say, business minded, because they want to find ways that they can grow their wealth, preserve their wealth, at the same time grow their wealth, because most of them even have businesses. So it's business minded church pastors that are which obviously there's nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong when pastors are doing business.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong. But today's conversation is specifically around why the churches don't
teach their members.
Why they don't impart knowledge to their members around running of businesses and where to invest or how to invest. Because it has to also be the interest of the church leader to see the congregation and the members also grow outside of growing spiritually as well. So we all know that money is what we need to for our day-to-day needs, and also to grow wealth, to be able to buy a house wherever you want to buy a house and own whatever that you want to own. You have to know that you have to, I'd say, business related, how to go about doing that, and why are most of the pastors not imparting that knowledge to the church members?
Yes, because what we've seen is that pastors and church leaders are getting richer, and it's evident that some or most church members, at least with what we have seen and experienced, are probably barely making it economically or financially, or some are even getting poorer. And it's because church leaders, or these church leaders, they know about how to do business and how to make money and how to turn their
100 rand to 100,000.
Exactly. Without then sharing such message with church members. Because what we see preached from the pulpit a lot is about tithes and offering and first fruits and all these biblical financial practices, which they are okay. We don't have anything against such. Nevertheless, we now know that those are not the things that necessarily result to being financially stable or even wealthy. And again, the church leaders that are some of these church leaders that know about this, we believe and to some extent know that they are not sharing the economic relevant information with their members to be able to then participate as such as they are, in order for them to also be able to.
And I think there's also
financially okay.
There's also the secretiveness sometimes I see with some pastors about how they make money. So now obviously we're talking about people who are making money the right way,
yes.
Through business or through whatever it is. Okay, so why the secretiveness around the fact that, yes, I'm a pastor, but I'm also running 5 businesses? Because that alone, as a member of the church, if I know that my pastor is doing that, it will also encourage me to do the same.
Exactly.
And to, because we know most people think about, making money just through a job, okay? But nowadays we know that you can have a job and you can have about 5 or 6 hustles on the side and actually make money. I think the problem is not educating members. You know, we know what the Word of God says, that, you know, our people shall perish for lack of knowledge, and lack of knowledge is what's keeping a lot of people, like, you know, under siege, if I should use the word, because they don't know, you know, and they don't have the information that yes, it's possible to run 5 businesses at the same time. I mean, thank God now we are in a technology world. You can have an online shop. You don't have to have a physical shop. You can literally have so many things running at the same time. Those are the things that build up at the later stage to build that wealth.
Exactly.
But do church members actually know that?
No, many don't. And hence we see what we, again, have seen and experienced. And I'm saying that because a quick disclosure that, you know, I am also a church leader, you know, in my own respect, and I just needed to mention that, you know, so that some of the things that I'm also going to be sharing, you're going to understand from that angle. So we've seen that church members are not doing very well, and then, you know, like you said, there is a lot of secrecy, you know, when it comes to church leaders not disclosing how they are making their money, and the members not knowing, and also people outside of the Christendom make a lot of assumptions, you know, about how church leaders are making their money, and most believe that it's just with tithes and with offering, and that is not the case. But because there is no balance, you know, between there is no balance on or about what church leaders preach on the pulpit and how they actually live their life and how they make their money financially.
I think it's just it requires openness and vulnerability as a church. There's nothing wrong with a leader being honest about, you know, how they make money. Honestly, it will help a lot of people. Most of the times, you know, church members get help through, you know, different organizations, maybe the, you know, the foundations that run programs and stuff like that, which is something that has to be in the foundation of the church. Outside of teaching people about God and Jesus, they should teach people how to run businesses. You know, in our previous church, you know, the great thing that I remember was a program that was done for the members of the church as well as the members of the community around where the church was based, which was such a great thing, because it even had so many great testimonies from people who learned skills. So it was just a situation where people came and taught different skills to unemployed youths around the community, and people after that started their own little business where they were doing nails or doing hair or whatever it might be. But the point is that the church gave that platform, so they allowed people to come in and equip themselves and to learn how to do business, because we are no longer in the time of waiting on like government or anyone to come and give us jobs. You know, because if you do that, you're going to wait for a very long time. We have to make means with what we have. Thank God, again, we're in a technology world. We are learning things on the internet. We are putting ourselves out there and obviously using the internet the right way. And that's the onus is also on the members of the church to you know, use the internet use the internet the right way. Putting in getting to know about things, learning skills, because that skills program was great for people who didn't have access to the internet. You know, it's great for that. People who don't have access to the YouTubes to be able to Google and like how to do this, how to do that. this is something that has to be standard in churches, I believe.
Yeah,
programs like this have to be a thing.
Yeah, that's actually where I was going to pick it from, to say, as much as we gather people to pray and to fast and do all the quote and unquote religious activities in church, skills, empowerment, leadership programs, entrepreneurship programs, they have to be integral parts of church activities. You know, there can't be once-off program that is seasonal. No, even if it has to be a Sunday thing, whereby after the main service, you know, then the skills empowerment or leadership or whatever you call it, but programs that are adding value to people in order for them to be able to be economically viable.
And the beautiful thing is that in church there is a diverse group of people, so they're diverse professionals, and many don't mind to do these things for free. Yeah. You understand? All you need to do is provide a venue and someone does something. So like, let's say once a month there's a program. This month there is someone who will come to speak to people about, or maybe doing hair, for example, you know, and people who are interested in that come and learn. You understand? It's not expensive. You know, you are putting back into the community. You are building the people that God loves so much. You are improving their lives. Even if people tend to think that, you know, maybe improving someone's life is just giving them money or whatever. It's usually these little things that you do on a, you know, for people that moves them to another level from where they were, and you know, and actually changes the trajectory of their life and as well as their family's life. And I wanted to say also with the community that the church was at, it's like Alex, you know. And I remember watching this program where the presenter was saying that people who come from Alex, under those, you know, poverty communities, they tend to, even children that are born into that, they follow how their parents lived. It's like difficult for them to climb out because why? Their parents don't know any better. You understand? So now when these people go to a place where they worship and they learn these things and they're like, oh, actually, there's this and this and that outside there. Let me try it. I think it's the right thing to do.
It's absolutely the right thing to do. And the good thing about churches making these programs that I mentioned earlier, skills development, entrepreneurship, and all of that, the good thing about it is that church members will then go out and put these things to practice, make money, and it will be easier for them to even be able to pay your tithes and your offerings, you know. And as a matter of fact, teachings around paying tithe and offering will not necessarily be something that a pastor, a church leader will have to hammer and, you know, be sweating over.
Pastor shouldn't be. In the first place, they shouldn't be humming and puffing over such conversations.
Because you know, that's what we've seen, one. And because the pastor itself, or himself or herself, so what I've seen is that some pastors, not a lot, not all of them, but many, they've never worked in their lives. Okay? They've never worked. They've never run a business, you know. So they don't know how to engage economically to be able to generate revenue. So all they know is to emphasize on tithes and offering and prophet seed and first fruit and all these things in order to convince members to bring their money. if the pastors or church leaders know how to do these things, meaning engage economically, work, do business and all of that, and even if they don't know, like you mentioned, there are church members that are professionals that can impart these skills on other church members, that would then help the members to be able to know how to make money, and even the pastor, to know how to, do something economically to be able to generate revenue. Then that will shift the focus from putting pressure on church members on how they must pay their offering and their tithe. So there's a lot of angles that we can look at this from, but the point, that we're trying to make is that churches must take advantage of the resources that are available to them. Number one, the space. Churches, they already have the space, chairs, microphone, and all these things that are needed to organize a seminar or a conference, and also the human resources that is required. So put all these things together and teach church members how to work, not just how to pray, how to work, how to make money, how to invest the money, how to
manage it,
how to manage their money. You mentioned earlier about we are in the technology space or world. There are a lot of legal way of making money online.
Yes.
For example,
yep.
Cryptocurrency. At least 10 years ago, people could argue that it's a scam, it's a fraud, it's a whatever. But now we know that these are technologies that people engage with daily and they make money on them.
There are so many
churches
things actually.
should teach their members how to trade cryptocurrencies. Other options are stocks. For example, in South Africa, there is easy equity. Because in the olden days rather, you can only trade, stocks without the ETFs and all of that. But there are digital platforms that are making it easier for people to participate in the financial markets. Churches should teach their members to be able to sell things on Facebook Marketplace, on how to create content online. And the list, these are basics, that churches should teach their members to participate in. The list is endless, but I just wanted to mention those few.
Definitely. There are even, what I've seen also online is like different companies that do like surveys and stuff like that for people to make money, where they participate in surveys and they pay them. So in a nutshell, we're just saying that it should be part of the agenda in churches to empower their people. It's so important because in my own view, currently, it looks as if, what we see most of the times with our government, trying to keep people below them. So not investing in things that are going to empower them and give them knowledge. Because what comes with knowledge, eyes are opened, people are getting to see things differently. So when you keep people underneath, you have control over them, and you dangle a few things in there, t-shirts or packet of milli meal, and someone who's hungry, they will take it and they will do what you ask them to do. So but when we know about we know about Jesus Christ and his character, and we know about, as Christians, is that we grow all the time, and we should grow, because that's just the nature. I think that's how the DNA and how God created human beings is for us to grow, because we are one today, tomorrow we are 7, we grow, right? And we grow spiritually, we grow mentally, we grow physically, we grow in so many ways. And another part is growing financially. Growing financially is also very important, because we know with money you tend to be able to do quite a few things with having money. So we have to teach people, we have to invest in giving this knowledge to people. It's the right thing to do, and I believe Jesus will be happy with us if we, as churches, we start practicing that, where we just inform our members how to run businesses. In fact, there's not a lot that needs to be done. I mean, you create a page, you tell your members that, there's maybe a table, end of the service, come and collect, this information if you want to know, That's how it's going to build people. Let's just talk about the secretive living and secretive how we do business. And sometimes, even what I've noticed was, when church members or other church members are doing certain things outside, you'll find that church members won't even share anything or share what you are doing.
Yeah.
I don't even understand where that comes from, because at the end of the day, as Christians, we are a fellowship. We are like brothers and sisters without even saying it. And that requires us to be, caring for one another, helping one another. We've had few times where we share things, especially like from our previous, churches. They won't share, let alone they won't even show up. But it's people that that I'd say even you're closer with in church. No follow-up, but how was, So all those things need to die down. Like, guys, we need to stand in this thing together, so that we don't, we don't just sponsor other people and, some pastors and, stuff like that. Because I was even thinking that with knowledge comes, obviously wisdom. And, all those things in a discernment, to be able to see when someone is messing with you, and you're like, no, you're not trying me, But because people don't know, they think it's okay. They think, yes, it's true. This person was sent indeed by God to come and say, this to me,
No, thank you, babes. So as you guys would have seen or heard, for those that are listening on the podcast, there are different things that we've touched on and kind of addressing the two ends of the spectrum, meaning the responsibility of the church leaders and also the responsibility of the members. And I just also want to say that the days of just having one source of income is over. In Genesis chapter 2 verse 10, God created 4 streams, and the purpose of the streams were to supply water to the garden. And what that means is that in our lives also, and as believers specifically, we must have minimum 4 streams of income. And that's how you are also able to live above inflation, because the truth is one source of income does not cut it anymore, and if you don't want to stay poor or become poorer, because that's what inflation does, you have to get engaged in multiple activities, business activities that are then bringing money in. If you are present in one physically, make sure that there are 3 other ones that you don't have to be there physically and that are bringing in. And
you do it well. I want to say, do it with excellence as well, because that's another challenge with people would have all these businesses and they have such terrible attitudes, and then they would be praying that, God to bless their business and so forth and so on. Well, for me, I know that if I don't get a good service, I'm not coming back. whether Christian or non-Christian.
Yeah.
If I don't get a good service, I'm not coming back. It's important that you equip yourselves, even when you get those streams of income, with skills on how to deal with people.
Yeah.
Okay? How to deal with people and how to, look after your customers so that they continue supporting you.
Yeah. And when we do that, that's how people outside the Christendom are going to take us seriously, because we've seen a lot of that, where you talk about being a Christian or you talk about Christianity or Jesus, and people just switch off, and it's because they think that we're just a bunch of, noisemakers or time wasters.
We actually had to come back, again, because ESCOM took the lights. That's another reality we are living in. But just wanted to say thank you guys for listening in, and we're looking forward to...
I thought we were going to say a few things before.
No, I mean, we said everything. It's just to say thanks and bye. Oh, okay. Say.
So yeah, guys, what we're saying basically is that church leaders should take responsibilities, and so are the members also. And the idea that we are giving God money and people must bring their money to give to God and all of that, it's a fallacy, and I'm not against people paying tithes and offerings and all of that, but the truth of the matter is no one is giving God money. What we're doing is that we are giving to the work of God,
The kingdom,
and the kingdom of God and the interests of God. And what is the interest of God in the context of the kingdom and doing His work? Is absolutely is to see people improve, is to see people
get closer to Him,
and
bring more.
Exactly, and get to know Him more and have a relationship with Him, and again improve in life and advance and all of that, and be a representative of His kingdom in every ramification, spiritually, socially, mentally, and economically. So when people bring their money to church, it is the responsibility of the church administration to then use the money for the development of the people. So we believe that we've been able to share our view in this respect, and hopefully we'll take collective responsibility. And please leave your comment in the section below. If you share the video, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe.
You're done. Thank you, thank you, babes. So with that being said, thank you. We'll see you again in our next episode. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, and like the videos.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.